And welcome to another day of ACT prep. We are on day 16. Yes. All right. So you should have your pink sheet, day 16, and you have your bell ringer activity. And it's percentages. Yes. I told you this is one of my favorite ones because life does revolve around percentages. So again, take out your bell ringer. You want to hit pause, take about 5 to 10 minutes, and work on the bell ringer. So hit pause, and I'll get back with you when you're done. All right, so you've hit resume, and excuse me, let's get back with this. So in your calculator, you're probably going to want to do 450 times 0.32. And you're going to get 144. You can see the calculations here. This is where you've got to do that percent to decimal, and we're going to move that decimal point from the right to the left 2 places. Remember here, the decimal point is, the decimal point is, let's go green today. The decimal point is right here, so we move it 2 places, which is 1.32. And a little hint, if anything is 100% or more, so 100% of 45 is 45, so you know the number is going to be greater than 45. Now these bottom two, this is technically the way that you calculate it. A lot of people know a little trick to skip a step. I kind of know that, and I kind of do that when I'm out shopping because I don't carry my calculator around. Yes, I have my phone, but I'm lazy and I want things done quicker. Your parents probably know this. So I do what's called reverse percentage to get here to this 112, because if you look, you've done 2 math steps here. You have to do 150 times 25% to get this amount. And I literally in 1 step, instead of doing 2 steps here, I get this number. And so what I do is the reverse percent. If I have a discount of 25%, so I'm not paying 25% of 150, that means I'm actually paying the reverse of 25%, which is 75%. You do 100 minus 25%. So instead of getting 25% off of 150, I'm actually paying 75% of 150. So when you do 75 times 150, you get this number here. Again, 1 step versus 2. Now, again, this is a 2-step right here. I've got to calculate what is 9% of 112.50, then add it. I can do this in 1 step as well. And the way I do this in 1 step is if I do 112.50 and I multiply it by 1.09, it is going to give me this number. Because if I put a 1 in front of the sales tax rate, the interest rate, the percentage, whatever the percent is, that basically is doing this addition step all in one. It's calculating this 9% and adding it into this 112.50 all in one. So that's a little trick there. Here you've got 24 students in a class. The ratio of boys to girls is for every 2 boys, there's 1 girl. So you got to remember that's 3 students total, 2 boys, 1 girl, that's 3. So that's 24 students divided by 3. That means there will be 8 groupings of 3. Okay. So that means there'll be 8 girls, 16 boys. All right, hopefully everybody got them all right. How many got them right? Yay, give yourself a pat on the back if you got it right. So we've done area and perimeter of polygons, quadrilaterals. We've done them with circles. Now we're going to be talking about triangles and then any other shapes, irregulars. Again, ACT does expect you to know the formula for the area of a triangle. Now, how I remember this is the area of a rectangle is base times height. Well, if you come in here and you cut it in half, what do you get? You get a triangle. And this is literally where the formula for area comes from. It is base times height cut in half, 1/2 base times height. And when you go through in geometry and you do the proof for this formula, that's literally what it is. You can take two congruent triangles and they will form a rectangle. So I need to do my little eraser again and make this go away so you don't have to see it. All right. So when you have a right triangle, this is kind of nice because you literally just do base times height and divide by 2. Now, a little trick that I do here is if there's an even number, I will, let me get back to my pen color. If there's an even number here, I will go ahead and divide this by 2. I won't go 8 times 7 is 56 divided by 2 because that's a larger number. And if I'm doing the math in my head, 56 divided by 2, I'm sitting here. But I can do 8 divided by 2. That's easy. That's 4. That's like first grade math, 2nd grade math. Ooh. And then 4 times 7, 28. Piece of cake. Again, work smarter, not harder. But if I'm doing 56 divided by 2, now I'm a math teacher, and that's harder for me. So when they're even, 8 divided by 4, or divided by 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 28. It's the same math. I'm just doing it a little easier way. When you don't have a right triangle, sometimes you have to create a right triangle to get the height. This is where we get the altitude, okay? So you've got to pick one of the vertices, and you're just going to drop down a line perpendicular to one of the sides, and that's going to be the height. Now, sometimes you might have a obtuse triangle, and you're going to have the altitude that falls outside. It works. So you can use the Pythagorean theorem to determine the height. You need to get in the habit. Anytime you see a right triangle, you can use Pythagorean theorem. When you take geometry, whether it's first semester or second semester, when you see a triangle and you see a right angle, use Pythagorean theorem. You can always use it. Vocabulary tip. You need to make sure you know scalene, isosceles, equilateral. Okay? Scalene, you have no sides equal, no angles equal. Isosceles, two sides are equal and 2 angles are equal. Equilateral, all 3 sides are equal, and more importantly, all 3 angles are equal to 60 degrees. All angles are equal, and since a triangle, sum of the angles is 180. All 3 angles are 60 degrees exactly. Now, you can also be asked to determine the area of other figures. So you could have to do a trapezoid. Now, like I said, I had to take a geometry class where I had to memorize like 40-something formulas, and it just made my head spin. So I figured out a way. Just about every single formula can go back to the area of a rectangle, which is base times height. So if we look at a trapezoid here, I'm going to draw it. This is base times height. Now you're going to look at the formula and go, that doesn't make any sense, Miss Edwards. Okay, but base times height. So if we do a trapezoid, it's going to have an altitude. But the problem is when you have a trapezoid, you have how many bases? You have 2 bases. So you're going to go, Miss Edwards, which base do I use? We'll use both of them. And this is where I rearrange the formula. So let's get rid of it here and do this. Since there's 2 bases, we take the average of the base. We add base 1 and base 2 and divide by 2. And then multiply by the height. Base times height. There's 2 bases, so we got to get the average of the 2. That's basically the formula. Add the bases together, divide by 2 to get one base calculation, and multiply by height. If it's a hexagon, there is a formula. You're gonna learn it in geometry. It deals with an apothem. I'm gonna be honest, I've taught it and I can't remember it. I don't use it in real life, but if you have a hexagon, you need to remember you can always break it up into 2 triangles and a rectangle, like so. If you know the formula for a rectangle and triangles, you can just use that and add the 3 together. Honestly, that's easier. The more stuff I remember, my brain seems to go to mashed potatoes. So I can remember rectangles and triangles. Here's our example. You've got an isosceles right triangle with a hypotenuse of 12. Now, right now, I guarantee you all are solving it one way. And several of you are like, I have no idea how to do this. Well, if it's an isosceles right triangle, again, draw it out. Right triangle. Isosceles means sides are congruent. Hypotenuse is the longest side opposite the right angle. It's 12. Many of you are going, I don't know how to do it. It's a right triangle. What formula can you use? Told you to always be thinking this. Right triangle. What formula can you use? Pythagorean theorem. If the sides are congruent, this can be an x and this can be an x. So you can do x squared plus x squared equals 12 squared. So x squared plus x squared, it's not x to the 4th, it's 2x squared. Okay, it's 2x squared equals 144. So x squared equals, what is that, 72. So x is going to equal, what is that? 72, I got factors of 9 and 8, a factor of 4 and 2. And so I got 3 and 2, I got 6 square root of 2. So each of these sides are 6 square root of 2. 6 square root of 2. But it wants the area. So I do 1/2 base times height. So 6 square root of 2 times 6 square root of 2 is going to give me 36 times 2 divided by 2. Those cancel. I get the answer of 36. Now, again, I mentioned this in one of the previous days. You're going to come on a trig section and geometry where they teach you sine, cosine, and tangent. Highly, highly advise you to pay attention. If you are a gamer, this is like a cheat code for Pythagorean theorem. I love trig because of that reason. It's a major cheat code. And I'm going to show you why. That took me a lot of steps. See if I can get it all erased here. That took me several steps. I'm going to show you how, knowing my trig, and I'm not going to erase all of it, knowing my trig, I can do that much faster. Let me change pen color so that, ooh, it says erase pen. Oh, there, hey, that was much faster, haha. So, knowing what I know with 45, 45, 90 triangles, this is an isosceles right triangle. I know instantly that there is a relationship between the sides. So if this is 12, then I know that this side is going to be 12 divided by the square root of 2. Now, I really need to not have a radical in the bottom, but honestly, it's not going to matter because they're not asking me what the side is. So I just need to do 12 times the square root of 2 times 12 times the square root of 2, which is going to be 144 divided by 2, which gives me 72. And then I need to divide that by 2 because it's 1/2 base times height, and I get 36. Yeah, saved myself a whole lot of trouble. Probably saved myself, 30 seconds over the whole thing. So, yeah. All right, so practice time. You're going to hit pause after you set 6 minutes on your watch or on your timer, however you do it. Again, really take your time. I want you to be self-monitoring, see how well you're doing this, because again, this ACT is money. I'm telling you guys. I just found out today or yesterday that if you score 27 in the English, you can bypass English 1010. That's money. I mean, it can save you time in college. So yeah, definitely. So hit pause and I'll get back with you in a few minutes. All right, guys, back from that. Let's check our answers. So area of a triangle. This one actually is an irregular shape. So Jan wants to tile her bathroom, and yeah, when we get apartments, when we get houses, very few rooms are regular shaped. So I've done this a lot, where I've DIY. I'm a DIYer. I don't want to pay somebody to do it. I can lay carpeting. I can lay floors. Saves a whole lot of money. So sometimes you don't have to measure everything because you can do the calculations. And you can see we're missing 2 here. I'm missing this measurement and I'm missing this measurement because I don't need to measure it. If this length is 10 and this length is 5, then that means this length has to be 10 minus 5, which is 5. And same thing, if this one's 8 and this one's 5, this one has to be 3. So now if I want to know the area, all I need to do, let me get a different pen color. Here, we'll go magenta. There's 2 different ways you can do it. It's irregular, so I can break it into 2 rectangles like this, or I could have broken it into 2 rectangles like that. I'm going to choose to do it this way because that's the way my eyes see it first. So this is going to be a 5 by 5. So 5 by 5 means this is 25 square inches. And then this one is a 5 by 8, which means this is 40 square inches. So that means I have 65 square inches. Okay, this one here we got the triangle. They're giving us the coordinates. I probably would go and write these down. A is sitting here at 3, 2. B is sitting here at 4, 5, just because it helps me not look back and forth. Yes, you might say this is wasting some time, but I know myself, I've done enough of these practices that when I keep looking back, I get confused more and I'll waste more time that way. They want to know what the area of the triangle is. So I've got to calculate the length of this base, and then I've got to drop an altitude here and do the height. Okay. So it's easy for me to calculate the length of the base. I've just got to determine if this is at x is 3, and if this is sitting at x is 7, then there's 4 units separating. So this has a base length of 4. Now the height would be the same thing. If this is sitting at y is 2, and this is at, this goes over here. If this is at y is 5, and this is sitting at y is 2, it has a height of what? 3. So base times height, 3 times 4 is 12, divided by 2 is 6. Or you can have 4, which is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. Trapezoid. Again, they want the area. They've given you the height. They say that, well, hold on. CD is 12, EF is 5, and AB is 8. So I told you, Four-sided figures, it's just like a rectangle. It's base times height, but you're given two bases. So we add the two bases together. 8 plus 12 is 20. Divided by 2 gives me 10. So that's my base. 10 times 5 is 50. And again, I have students that tell me that way makes more sense than 1/2 the height times B1 plus B2. Yeah, take the two bases, get the average, multiply by height. Here, they want to know the area of the shaded region. Again, look at your answers. There's X in the answer. Okay, so you already know going into this, X is going to be in my answer somewhere. There's several different ways that you can solve this. Several different ways. So we know this is a square, so this is going to have a length of X. If this whole thing is 15, then this length from here to here is going to be 15 minus whatever X is. So the best way to solve it is going to be 16 times, 15 minus X. Ooh, that looks really, really bad. And that should probably be a circle there. So 16 times 15 is 240. 16 times minus X gives us minus 16X. So again, once you tell me what the length of X is, then I can give you the formula. So this is like something you'd program in a calculator. Here we've got area of a triangle is 35 units. It has a base of 10. So if you have to, draw it out. Here's the height. We know the area is 35, the base is 10. We don't know what the height is. So you've got 1/2 the base times the height equals 35. So this is going to be 5. So now you get 5x equals 35. So that means x will be 7. Yeah. A lot of times students get flustered, and I'm always like, if it says area of a triangle, use that formula. Write out the formula and just start plugging in every bit of information they give you, and then it kind of jumps out at you. Oh, solve for the variable. Because that's what I do. When I'm in doubt, I just put whatever formula is there. I just start plugging in numbers, and then all of a sudden the light bulb will go off. Equilateral triangle. So if it's equilateral, I know all sides are the same. So 10, 10, 10. I also know if it's equilateral, every angle is 60. And they want to know what the area is. Ooh. It's kind of hard because I need to know what a height is, don't I? Yeah. This is where it would get tricky. And you'll learn all this in geometry, that if I drop an altitude down, this will be 5, and this one will be 5, that this is actually, does bisect that side. So you can do Pythagorean theorem to find the length of this height. And again, that's going to take you a while. When you get to the trig section, you're going to know that this is a special right triangle. I can instantly tell you that this height is 5 times the square root of 3. Because, like I said, I did that trig. I know it. I have it memorized. That's one of those cheat codes. It's one of those special things in gaming where, haha, I got a leg up on you because I memorized a cheat. Trig is cheats. It's cheat codes in math with right triangles. So if you like that stuff, I would pay close attention in trig. So now if we're doing the area, the base is 10. So it's 1/2 base times height. So it's 5.3 times 10 divided by 2. 10 divided by 2 is going to give us 5. So that's where you get 25 times the square root of 3. And there's your answer. Okay. So your exit ticket for today is, this is an easy one. So this one's going to be good. You just need to tell me what is the difference between an isosceles triangle and an equilateral. And you've had this since elementary school, so you should be able to tell me the difference between the two, and I expect everybody to get 10 out of 10. And if you don't know it, you should be able to Google it and give me a good answer. So enjoy day 16, and I'll see you in class. Bye.